friends, I'm Elu from Knights of Hyrule, and this is Kooloo, Limpah. So of course I'm going to answer your mailbag questions today, just a few because I'm still getting back in the swing of things, but there's also going to be an introduction from a new Knight of Hyrule at the end of the video, so definitely pay attention because it's important, especially if you love Zelda and you love ocarinas. So today's first question comes from Martina, who asks, what do you think Zelda needs to become more realistic? Well, without going into a whole discussion about whether Zelda should be realistic or not, I would have to say there's quite a bit. But I think a lot of time when people think realistic, they mainly focus on visuals, and that isn't always what makes something realistic. It really comes down to, does it feel realistic? Does it make you feel like you're actually doing something that's real? Does it really affect you? There's so many games out there, and shooters are a good example of this, that have a very real visual style, but in the end it doesn't feel realistic. You don't really feel like you're actually doing something. It's just the experience doesn't feel real. A lot of times it does. Like say something like Battlefield. You get really into it, yeah, it's gonna feel real. But then you have something sort of like, say, Gears of War, and that doesn't really feel realistic even though it has like realistic looking graphics and stuff. For Zelda to feel realistic, I think you'd have to really focus more on atmosphere for one. And Zelda's always had a great atmosphere, but it has always felt fantastical. Now, you want to keep that in there, but how do you make it feel more realistic? Well, maybe making something like the outcomes feel more realistic. If a Zelda game is going for realism, then you shouldn't have to feel like you can just do whatever at any time, whatever. If there's a big problem in the story, like say there's an attack going on at Hyrule Castle, you shouldn't feel like you want to go, you know, just play mini games or whatever in the meantime. You should feel a real need, an urge to get down there and save Zelda and help the knights and do whatever. There should be a sense of urgency. When something happens to your character or another character in the game, you should feel for that character. If someone dies, you should feel like, you know, you really lost that character. Part of what Zelda's not like a gory game. If somebody dies, you just kind of poof out of existence and that's it. But then there have been games like Majora's Mask where they die, you don't see them die of blood and gore, they turn into a mask. Pretty much their essence is into the mask. And so you're carrying that around with you. You're carrying, they can't really pass on. You're carrying that with you. And so that's a more realistic sense of something serious going on. Maybe it's not a realistic way of them dying, but it's real. The agony and how sad it is, just everything, that's carrying that with you throughout the game, that's a very real feeling. And seeing the way the other characters, like say Lulu, who's reacting to her children being lost, something like that, that's real. And that's something, if you want realism, I think that it'd be great if Nintendo would look back to Majora's Mask and see how well they did that. I think what I'm trying to get at is emotion. I think it was done really well in Skyward Sword, even though I'm not that big of a fan of Skyward Sword. I do think that what you feel for Zelda, I think it was spot on. I was crying when Zelda decided to go all crystallized and stuff, and Link was rushing up to save her. It wasn't just like, I want to say in Ocarina of Time I felt something similar when Zelda got captured. I really wanted to save her, but in Skyward Sword, you see Link running up to her, and he's so emotional about it. He's tripping over himself, and he gets up there, and he's just so distraught, and that felt so real. If Zelda ever does decide to go realistic, I think there's so much more I could talk about, but I don't want to make this too long. But I don't really think that visuals, like most people think of when it comes to realism, I don't think that should be the focus. I think there should be as much freedom, whether it wants to be realistic looking or artistic looking or something in between. I think there should be plenty of freedom for that, for them to do whatever. I think to be realistic, it needs to focus more on how the feels, bro, of how it's affecting you and whatnot. Yeah. Pouring Chan says, do you collect any Zelda memorabilia and do you ever cosplay? I do. I collect a lot of Zelda memorabilia. You can't really see it, but this whole room is filled with it. It's just kind of a disaster. I really don't know what to do, how to organize any of this. But anyway, I do collect stuff. I also get standees, I get posters, I get so much junk. I do cosplay. There's Bunny Link's bug catching net from Link to the Past, and I guess now from Link Between Worlds. Link to the Past is the first, so let's just say that. I have Zelda's outfit, I have armor. This year in June I'm going to Too Many Games. I'm going to be cosplaying as Link, but there's going to be a spin on it, and I'm not going to tell you what. But it is in Pennsylvania, which is where I am, and it's called Too Many Games, which you should totally check it out because the voice of Professor O is going to be there, Power Glove is going to be there. But yeah, I'm going to be going as Link. Probably the best Link you have ever seen. I'm just letting you know ahead of time because you don't know what to expect. I'm just telling you to expect something awesome. Karu-chan asks, what is your favorite Zelda theme? Well, right now, this is one of those things that always changes for me, but right now I am totally in love with the castle theme, LORULE Castle from Link Between Worlds, because you know it's really just Hyrule Castle from Link to the Past, but it's still really cool. And I like the part when you just listen to it for a while and you listen to it, and later into the song, it gets like the vocals, it gets like actual vocals in there, and it sounds so cool and empowering. Listen. Sound really cool. I don't know, I just like it sounds like knights and stuff chanting and like just raising their banners for their queen or something. I don't know. But now I also really like the maze music because I think it's really cool. And I don't know, I like the sound of woodwinds. I think clarinet's really cool, so it sounded very neat. I didn't like the level, I thought it was stupid, but I really like the music. Which this, you know, I mean, all of Link Between Worlds' music was great, and just goes to show that Koji Kondo is amazing, and you can't really get any better than him. And even though we've had all this new music because we have new composers and stuff now, Koji Kondo just kind of oversees everything. When you go back to an old game and you just bring those old songs back to a new game, you're just kind of like, yeah, maybe Koji Kondo should stop overseeing everything and just actually do everything because he's the best. And on the subject of music, now that, you know, Nintendo isn't afraid of orchestrating music anymore, they better do well with Zelda Wii U, because if they can't top what they did in Link Between Worlds, I'm going to be very upset. And you'll get a letter from me, Nintendo. Don't think you won't. I will come there. I will come to your office. Master Sword Feet asks, what did you think of the shop in A Link Between Worlds to get your items? And also, what did you think about the upgrade system? I thought the shop thing was retarded. I'm sorry, it was stupid. Because you don't die in that game unless you suck, which apparently a lot of you do. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound mean, but from what I'm reading, a lot of people have died in Link Between Worlds, and I didn't. I don't understand how there's any difficulty there. I'm sorry, I don't. But anyway, if you don't die, then you never get your items taken away. And so what's the point of buying them? And even if you do die, their rupees are so abundant that you don't really need to buy the items. You'll have just step outside for 10 minutes into the little world, or go outside of your house 10 minutes, and you have like a million rupees, and you just can go rent them again. It's retarded. I do like that, you know, being able to have all the items at once. You can pretty much just go whichever direction you want. And I love the freedom because it should be free and open like that, but you don't need that stupid item system in order to have that openness. You don't need it. There are better ways to do it, so that better not return, because I'll freaking kick my Wii U out the window if it's on Zelda Wii U. As far as the upgrade system went, I think that was great. I really do like being able to upgrade things. I liked it in A Link to the Past when you went to the fairy and you threw your stuff in and she rewarded you for being honest, and it taught you when you're a little kid that if you're honest, you will have goodness in your life, and I love that. And so having something like that, again, in Link Between Worlds is great, but the whole mother weenie octopus thingy was weird, but it was good. And I think that it should have been a little bit harder, because, yeah, it's too easy to upgrade your stuff, but actually being able to upgrade everything was awesome, and there just should have been more uses for upgrades, maybe a little more, you know, differences in the upgrades. I don't know. But I thought the idea of it was really cool, so I hope it returns. But not with an octopus. I'm sorry, that was weird. So that's it for this mailbag. Remember to leave your comments and questions in the section below, because I do read and I listen to you guys. I like to talk to you because you're Zelda fans, and I love you because you're Zelda fans. If you weren't Zelda fans, then I wouldn't care about you, but you are, so I love you. So now I'm going to introduce our new knight, and you can pay attention and all that cool stuff.
G'day guys, my name is LORULE and I'm the new knight here at Knights of Hyrule. My initial project here at the site will be to take over the Hey Listen segment of the website and to present you guys with the best Legend of Zelda covers from various artists and composers from around the internet. Along with that, I'll also be making videos and tutorials on how to play the ocarina. So please get yourselves ready for that. Those videos shall be dropping in the next couple of weeks.
Aren't you excited for ocarina stuff? Yay! So I guess we'll see you next week.